Hello, hello. Here we are.
Hi,
Okay. Hi, Bianca.
how are you?
Good, you?
Good.
Okay. So for everyone watching, today I wanted to do this call with my friend Bianca because she just released a new book that's available on her website, but it's probably going to become a physical book, or maybe you can tell us later on.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. But the whole concept is just so amazing, and I think it's just so freaking relevant to everything that we're living these days. The project it's called Personal Space, and yeah, I'm just gonna let Bianca roll with it. So, welcome, Bianca. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. So, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself and tell us more about your new project, Personal Space?
Awesome. So, my name is Bianca. Nice to meet you. I've never done this. I'm a little nervous. I'm a photographer established in Montreal, and the project is actually a photo series that is up on my website called Personal Space. And it kind of started when I finished photography school, where I wanted to get back into portrait practice and kind of, offer a series of less commercial, honest portraits, and just to find a concept around it. And the speciality in which I had studied was commercial photography. So I wanted to find something that would be more me, because I didn't fully identify with the whole thing. So yeah, it was it kind of came out of the blue because I always had this thing where I didn't really allow a lot of people in my room.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought oh, maybe we should visit that and take in portraits of people in the room to both measure the influence of a space in a portrait and the honesty of it, because I had been up until that time been doing a lot of work in the studio, and just it was sometimes I noticed it might throw people off or whatever. So I was oh, let's visit that aspect. And then a lot more aspects came to the project, in the sense where I was oh, what about including, what about trying to capture intimacy
Mm-hmm.
and including, the person, and for them to provide the context of who they are, where they're at in life, a quote that would resonate with them or their situation at the time of the portrait. And yeah, it created a nice intimate space where these sessions started taking place. And at first, the very first portrait, I'm if I ask to take photos of people in the room, nobody's gonna want to say yes. Like, being a saboteur was they're gonna hate it. And sure enough, uh, I was proven wrong a lot of times because an entire series came out of it. And it came to become this thing where I guess the whole intention with the project was to capture intimacy, to also have this exercise of vulnerability,
Mm-hmm.
and for people to open up, which is nowadays, we're starting to have more and more this conversation, but it's not often something that people are comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so amazing. And I was going to ask you, like, did you have difficulty actually like gathering the subjects? And by the way, I am one of the subjects, so if you want, I can do like a little montage or just show kind of like my picture. And I was so grateful that you actually, when this week you told me, you wrote me like, hey, I'm gonna be releasing this, but it was really nice that you kind of like, I wanted to show it to you first because you participated, and it was so, I was so thankful that you share that with me, and that, I mean, that you allow me to be part of the project, because to see the things that I wrote, like, you know, a couple years back, like that was like 2 years ago, maybe. It was just so incredible to kind of like see the where my mind was at 2 years ago. And I'm sure that a lot of us who participated in the project were like, oh my God, looking at like that
Yeah,
past version of ourselves and being so grateful. So yeah, thank you for inviting me.
you're welcome.
And yeah, so tell me more about like how did you go about, again, kind of like recruiting the subjects for the project. And you asked us to like share a quote or something, so it wasn't only like the photo, there was also like the kind of
The
asking questions.
So the thing is that, you know, there was this thing that again like came from the whole like practice of being in studio that I didn't feel necessarily, you know, it felt like when you do portraiture, the person that you're portraying or the subject was very like, here's this person, like it wasn't involving the person. So like I felt that it would be, you know, like it wasn't my place. You know, we could always like create narratives and like have an idea, but I thought it would be interesting for people to tell us, you know, who they are or what they're about. Or and there was a lot of interpretations to what I would ask, and I literally always told the same thing to the people, just, you know, to let them interpret it as they wanted. Some took it as an interpretation of the literal space, and others like spoke about where they were at in life, and others like chose a quote that was representative to them or like resonated to them at that time. So to me, like it kind of, I started obviously like photographing my friends so I could like show other people like, oh, there's this project. And a lot of people started telling other people, and they're like, oh, this friend would be interested, blah, blah, blah. And then I would reach out to them, tell them a bit about the project, and they would participate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny how we tend to think that, like you said at the beginning, you were kind of like scared that people maybe they were going to say no. But yeah, no, honestly, I think that all of us, like deep inside, we do have kind of like that desire of showing who we really are, like expressing ourselves. And yeah, like I remember when you asked me, I was like, I mean, maybe at first it's like, ooh, but then I'm like, hell yeah, I want to be I want to be part of your project, because it just sounded so yeah, so nice. And you know, being, you know, reading and sitting, seeing what other people share. And I, like you said, there's like a variety of people who are just like a few words. Me, I was like, here's where I'm at in my life. And it's
I
really
had a couple
funny.
of long texts. I had like a few, and but mostly it was like predominantly medium to short and some long ones, but like it was all, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
funny to see how different people interpreted the question differently, and how you allow them to just show up as they are. Like you said, yeah, it is very different. I mean, I can imagine to do like a commercial project where everything's about like the strategic positioning of the
Mhm.
subject versus just showing people like in their environment
Yeah.
and who they are. It's so nice.
And
So yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. There's also the aspect which like I guess like when I apply, when I've sent the project out to like places and I explain a little bit more in like the artist statement and whatnot. There's the whole, to me, it was kind of a proposition or a counter proposition to the fact that, you know, like I wanted raw and honest portraits. And like it didn't feel right for me to speak for people at all. Like it's not my place. And also, I wanted to offer a counter option or like another option to like what we see on social media and like social media platforms. Like when you think and like check the data on Instagram, there's billions of photos that are uploaded on the daily. And I'm telling you, like, it's something like 1,000 photos per second. It's insane. And like, there's this self-documentation that happens on the daily life of almost everyone in the planet that has access to the internet and that feels to do so, to kind of leave like a digital documentation of your life. So like, I guess like my intention was to do that, but from a more honest perspective, I suppose, because there's a certain superficiality that comes with the consumerism and like the voyeurism of images on social media versus like what we want to show of ourselves and whatnot. Anyway, it goes around.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally see what you mean. On social media, it's like this pressure to yeah, always show like the good bits, always show like what we think it's like the desirable aspects for us to show.
Yeah.
Um yeah, and sometimes not realizing that sometimes when we are vulnerable and we share the truth of how we really feel, what we're going through, even when it includes not so many cool things, we do find that sometimes people are like, kind of like they can connect with that too. So it's, yeah, we'll, I guess, time will tell if, social media, it's going to be moving more towards, towards that. But yeah, for sure, it's been like many years of very like, you know, good vibes only and beautiful photos and everyone's on vacation and is like rich and like having a fabulous life, and it's like you're having a bad day and you're like, oh my god, I feel so alone.
Yeah, no, but I think that ultimately like social media will be whatever we make out of it. And like we get to decide what we want to show and what we want to do of it. So I think that it's definitely like, we need to have like, and not that everyone needs to, but like those who are willing to, a little bit more vulnerability won't hurt.
For sure.
So yeah, that's what the whole thing was about.
That is so cool. That is so nice. Thank you so much for sharing. So what are the next plans for the personal space project? Like, where should people go if they want to take a look at the photos?
They can go on my website, so biancalecompte.com, and it's when you open the menu, like it's at the lower part. Can send you the links, and from there, I probably won't be posting the photos on Instagram because I just want them to be on my website. A while ago, while I was still in the midst of the project, I had the idea of perhaps making it a book. That would be like, I think that would be a really good format for it. And also, we have so many digital images that it's very interesting to have like a tangible format of these images. So, like, to see everything together come through a book, like, it's definitely something that I would love to see in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps I'll make one myself. I don't know. And also hopefully like after the whole like COVID-19 situation stops sort of, I hope that maybe I can continue or like reshoot some of the images that I had to edit out and like just continue if there's place to do so. If not, I can also like work on other side projects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. That's so cool. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we hope that we're gonna go back to that like normal, you know, time where we could actually go to other people's houses and visit them and
Me planning to hug all my friends for half an hour as soon as this is over.
totally, totally. Yeah, that's something we miss for sure. Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing. We will for sure link to your website and to your social media as well, even though you're not going to be sharing those personal space um, photos in your Instagram. You still post a lot of in your photography account. You have like a lot of amazing, beautiful pictures that are for sure worth um, liking and looking at. So I will put that in the description. And was there anything else that you wanted to share before we finish the call? Any messages? Anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me and for allowing me the space to talk about the project as well. And yeah, if there's any updates about it, I'll for sure be posting on social media. In the meantime, stay safe.
Well, thank you. You too. So I'm just going to stop the recording and then we can just have a chat. Okay, bye.